Hello, welcome back to week 4. So in week 4, we'll be talking about tables, semantic HTML, and accessibility. But if you have not started, if you've not done week 1, week 2, week 3, please kindly go to the playlist. The link is in the description below. All right, kindly go to the playlist. Start from week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. So in week 4, and if you have actually completed week 1, week 2, week 3, and you have done all of this, please drop in the comment section. All right. Tell us exactly what you love in those classes. Drop in the comment section. Tell us that you are done with week 1, week 2, and week 3. Okay. So now let's talk about tables, semantic, HTML, and accessibility. So we are going to divide it into 3 parts. The first part is we are going to talk about tables. So what are tables? When we talk about tables in HTML, what do we really mean? HTML tables are used to display tabular data. So whenever in your HTML page, you have a tabular data to display to your users, then you will use tables to arrange them in rows and columns. Just like you have your spreadsheet, your Excel sheet, all right, this kind of data, you can actually display them in your web page. So we use tables for something like students' results. If you want to display students' results, if you want to display timetable, if you want to display price list, okay. If you want to display records, but the thing is that so many people make this mistake. They actually use table to structure their page layout. That is unprofessional. That is actually for beginners. It's very, very unprofessional. If you want to structure your page layout, you actually use CSS. Okay, we'll be talking about that. Okay, as we go on, we are going to learn CSS too. We'll learn CSS, we'll learn JavaScript, we'll learn React, and we'll learn Next.js. Okay, all right. So now this is the basic structure of a table. The table structure starts with the table element, the opening tag, and the closing tag. Then the next thing you have is the table row. Okay, this table row is like now the row, all right? Now, instead of the first row, you should have your table headers. So in this case now, we are going to be what we have here is showing that we are going to be having a name and a score column. All right? Then this name and score column are going to have their rows. So let's go to code. Let me show you. So I will start with a table element, open and close tag. Okay. Then I would have my first table row. I will have my first table row. Okay. Then inside my first table row, I'm going to have my table header. Okay, so let's assume that this is the student's name. I would also close this my th. All right. So I can copy and say the student's score. I can maybe also do, let's say age. Okay, so I'll change this thing to age and I'll change this thing to score. Or I can just say student class. So now this is the first row. All right. If I save this now and then click on go live, you're going to see that we're only going to have the table header. You know, the way that the first row in most of the tables, you can see now, they are bolded. They are bolded, okay? You see name, class, and score. They are all bolded. So that this is the table header. The reason why they are bolded is because of we are using the TH. All right. The TH is used for the headers. Now we can also have another row. Now the next row um will not be this row will not contain the main data. So this could be for one of the students. This could be for one of the students. So the first name is John. All right, the student's name is John. Okay, so let me also copy this. So we have TH, we have TD. Okay, TH is for table header, like it will appear in bold. Then TD will not contain the main data. So I can say SS1, and then the student score is, let's say, 78. So now I could also have another row. So let's assume now that I have more than one student. So the next student is going to be Ken, and the student is in SS2, and the student score is 45. If I save it now, look at what we have. We have the table, we have rows. So this is, remember, tables are in rows and columns. So the TR is for the rows. Now, each of these, now this table have three columns. So this is what we use to actually determine how many columns we have, the T head. So the first row is this is the second row, and this is the third row. So if I save now, go to the browser, this is what you're going to see. So this is the first TR. All right, this is the first, sorry, this is the first TR. All right, then this is the second one. All right, and this is the third one. And you can see now we have three rows and we have three columns. So how do we actually get that? See, we have look at it. If I collapse these TRs, all the TR, you see that we only have three TRs. One, two. Okay, what happened? It's like I made a mistake. If I save now, go back. I think I made a mistake, and I okay. What is confusing me here? TR, 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 TR. So, oh, sorry. It's like we have an empty TR here. Okay, we also have another. Okay, this is empty. No wonder. So we only have we only have three table rows. Okay, but now the first row contains the columns. So this is the columns, or why the TH is the column. If I go back to the browser, you're going to see that this is the name. We have one of them, TH, to be named. The other one is class, and the other one is course. So this is how we get the columns. So table rows and table columns. Okay. Now, table defines the table element or the table tag. The table element defines the table itself, okay? And then the T row, all right, is the table row. The T header is actually the table header. They are both by default, and it actually determines how many columns we are going to have. Then the TD is what actually holds the data. You said we have three TH, table, name, class, and score. So, but we now have the TDs that hold the data. Look at it. It is the TDs that actually holds the actual data. So the actual data for this student now, we have the student details in this role, and the actual detail name here is John. Another one is class is SS1, and then score is 78. Okay, so you can see that this actually holds the data. The TDs holds the data. So the best table section. So this is the best practice. Now, tables also have table headers. Now, for semantic reasons, all right? For semantic reasons, you should, we'll talk about semantic in the next part. But for semantic reasons, this is how what's it called again? This is how your table should be structured. Now, you see everything that is in the header or anything that is in the TH should be in this header. So I should go back and restructure it. You see, this first TR should be inside of a T head like this. All right. So this tells the browser and search engine of screen readers and blah 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 that make use of the semantic. So this actually tells the browser and screen readers and what's it even called again? Screen readers, search engines. Okay, it actually tells them that this contains the head, the table head. So anything that comes with maybe the title or the caption should be in the table head. Okay, now after the table head, you should have the table body. You should have the table body. That means your student details, all right, the rows that contain the student details from here to here. I'm going to cut it and I'm going to put it inside it of a T body. Okay, they should be inside of a T body. All right, so I'll save. Okay, so now we have okay, sorry. We have the TH, we have the T body. All right. So this is the header of the table. This is the body of the table. The next thing we have is the footer. So we call it T foot. Okay. So T foot contain the total. Do you understand? So the T foot is like the footer, just like every page has footer. So T foot is like the table footer. It's like the table footer. Okay. So every other thing that has to do, we can say um, TR like this. And then we could have maybe TD. Um, okay, we could even have TH here. Okay, and then we'll call it total so that it will be in bold. Okay, then we will now have a TD. We can say the total is like this. Okay. Okay, so if I save this now, nothing changes, all right? But the thing is that semantically, the browser is going to make use of it, all right? You can see what we have here. Nothing really changed, nothing really changed, okay? Nothing really changed, but semantically, the browser is actually having a better meaning of our structure. Okay, so you could also be using table captions. Also use table captions because with table captions, it helps in accessibility. We'll talk about accessibility later. It explains the table purpose. It will help um, screen readers, search engines to actually get it right. So now let's go and do table header, sorry, table caption. So I'm going to say uh, table header, table, I'm going to say caption. So I'm going to say caption, and then this caption is just going to be, I will say student result. Okay. So this is basically what it is. It's like a title of the table. All right. It's like a title of the table. So you can see, look at it here. All right. So then we also have co-span and row span. So if you want one column to span across two columns, you can actually use co-span like two. So in this case now, yeah, this total is a perfect example. If you take a look at the browser, you can see that this total we have three rows, but this total is not making sense. It's not even aligned well. So I'm going to make this total to span across two columns. All right, the first column and the second one. Okay, so I'll come here and I'll say co-span. I will say is equal to 2. So it's going to span across the two columns now. You can see it's occupying the two columns now. All right, but it's just that it's in the center, it's occupying the two columns. We also have row span. So if you want a row to occupy two rows, you can actually do the same thing. So I could actually go and say, um, let's say this row now, I would want this row to occupy two rows. I will say row span is equal to 2. You can make it 3, you can make it 4, depending on your design. If I save it now, um, okay, sorry, it's not here. Sorry, it's not supposed to be here. I'll cut it. Sorry. Oh, wait. Okay, sorry, my apologies. I put it in the wrong place. So it's supposed to be in TDs. Okay, where am I? Okay, I'll go to my T body. So I can say that I want this TD. Oh, sorry. I want it to span two rows. So if I go back, save, go back, you can see it is spanning two rows. Do you get? It is spanning two rows. So this John, all right, is spanning two rows. So, but I could actually um sorry, I could actually let me try it on the let me take it out here and put it here. Okay, So if I bring it back, okay, sorry, it doesn't work on T rows, it works on TDs. So that now the thing is that if I put it here, it looks ugly. Okay, but I can actually make other ones so that let's see it. So it's going to span across two rows. Okay, it's looking ugly. Okay, let me take all these ones out. So, but the thing is that it would, had it been we have some borders to our this thing now. So, but if you take a look at the, if you take a look at the, what happened? There's an error. What happened? Um, what happened? Okay. So you see that this John is spanning across two rows, this row and this row. Okay. That's why it's displacing the Ken. This one is supposed to be, so it's spanning across two rows now, row one and row two. All right. So what is semantic HTML? When we say semantic HTML, we are talking about the tags that you're using. We are talking about the tags, the HTML tags that you're using. You cannot just be using anyhow HTML tag. Okay. Now, I do not have enough time to explain this thing in details. It is in my paid courses that actually take. Sure, this HTML, semantic HTML is a whole chapter that we actually discuss it, semantic HTML. Okay. So semantic HTML uses meaningful tags that describe their content. We cannot just come and use anyhow tag. So as a professional, all right, when you start using semantic HTML, it actually shows that you're a professional because your tags are not just don't just take them anyhow. So look at this div class header. This is very wrong. It's not semantic. There is a header. There is a header element that contains everything that is supposed to be in the header. So instead of you to say div class header, no, this is very wrong. You should be using the header element. Okay, with the header element, the browser interprets the content differently. The browser understands the content differently. So there are a couple of semantic elements. We have the header element. The header element is used for your hero section. So any section that introduces your website, your navigation. Your navigation link should be there. Your logo should be in your header section. Your hero section, your welcome message, all should be in your header section. Or should be in your header section. Okay. Now, everything that has to do with your navigation links, everything that has to do with your navigation links should be in your nav tag. All your links, your home link, your contact us, anything that has to do with links, whether it's in the header or in the footer or in the inner on the side, it should be in the nav. So now the main content of your web page should not be put inside of the main element. Okay, so instead of your main element, so of course your main content should have sections. So every theme in your page should be inside of a section. Now anything that has to do a content that is independent, that can stand on its own, that is independent of your main page, should be in the article. I'm so sorry I don't have enough time to take time to explain all this thing. But like I said, in our paid courses, we actually took time to explain all this things and give example. So footer and aside, these are semantic elements. So let's take a look at an example. Now, this is the header element. You see, the H1 is inside of the header element. So the header element is where you do your introduction. So if you're introducing your page, all right, your welcome message, all right, your navigation links, your logo, they should all be inside of your header section. It makes it more semantic. So your nav, anything that has to do with your navigation links should be in a nav. It should be in a nav inside of a nav element, the nav tag. So your main content is should be in the main element. Then your main can now contain one or more section elements. Okay, they can contain one or more section elements. So you should no longer be using div. Instead of you to use div to describe a logical part of your web page, you use a section that makes it more semantic. All right, then the footer. is also a semantic element. Okay, so why does semantic HTML matters? It is good for better SEO. So if you build your web page with semantic elements, all right, semantic HTML, search engines will optimize your website. All right, then for better accessibility, so if your web page or your website has good accessibility, search engine would also favor it in their ranking. Okay, it will give you cleaner code because everything is well structured, logically structured. Your page will be logically structured, so it is easier for teamwork. Okay, now the last thing we'll talk about is accessibility. Now, what is web accessibility? Some people that will be using your web page actually might have um some issues. Okay, they could be blind people, they could be impaired in one way or the other, they could have some disabilities. So accessibility means you building your website so that it can be accessible by everybody. Accessibility ensures that website can be used by everyone, including visually impaired users, keyboard only users, screen readers. All right. Now, if you want to make your image to be accessible, you must have to always use the auth attribute. Make sure that your images have auth attribute. It helps in accessibility. So it is very bad for you to use an image element without having the auth attribute. So for keyboard accessibility, there are some people who only use keyboard. All right, they don't use the mouse. So make sure that users navigate using the tab. So instead of clicking, when they click a button, instead of clicking a button, they could just hit enter. When they hit enter, they could navigate to your website using the tabs. And whenever they hit enter, they are hitting a button. So this is good. If you have a button like this is good. All right, using a button other than using a clickable div. Some people make the mistake of they will make a div clickable. Do you understand? It is very bad. It is very, very bad. If you want to use any clickable thing, you always use the button element. Okay. Now, well, we also talk about area attributes. Okay, so this also makes your button accessible or your website accessible. So now we say area hyphen label. So this is going to act as a label for people who are using for impaired for screen readers, for people who are disabled, maybe visually impaired, or maybe people are using navigation. Okay, so this is going to help. This is going to be like you can see that this button only has X. It doesn't make too much sense. So, but with the area label, all right, of course, you should not even be using X unless maybe you're using an icon. So you should always use area label. This area label will give extra meaning to your this thing, will to give the label closed menu. So screen readers will actually see this closed menu, okay, to help them. So area helps screen readers understand elements. So in this case of this button now, this area label, we are just saying X. What is X? X is confusing. But with the area label, it tells them, oh, close menu. Okay. So always make sure that your color contrast is amazing. So your background colors and your forecolor should contrast very well. Text must be readable. Avoid light text on light background. So, example, if your color is black, that means your background should be white. There's a lot of contrast. So make sure that your color contrast is good. Okay. So thank you very much. If you have any question, if you have, drop it in the comment section. And if you like this video, okay, comment so far what you like about this video. Like this video. This will actually help YouTube algorithm so that you can share it with other people. This is a free class. Why don't you subscribe, turn on notification, okay? Share with your friends and family, okay? Comment. Tell us exactly what you enjoyed most about this class, okay? Comment because it will help YouTube to actually make this video visible to other people. Thank you very much, and I will see you in week 5.